Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Shubra Mishra. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Shubra.
Oh, okay, sir. My name is Shubra. I have completed my bachelor's in political science from Banaras Hindu University. Then I have moved to Delhi. I was selected in Aung San Suu Kyi chair in LSR, where I am pursuing my diploma in conflict transformation and peace building. And this is a part of my dissertation. The topic of my dissertation is from battlefield to boardroom. Boardroom, the changing paradigm from geopolitics to geoeconomics in the field of conflict transformation. So I'm taking interviews of the people who have worked or have background in economics or political science. So they support my hypothesis for this dissertation. So, sir, my first question is: we are seeing that we are back in the era of tariffs. US has we have been saying that US has started imposing tariff. It is using it as a method to show its supremacy. It has imposed to 40% tariff on China and other countries. The countries that were even in support of US and its policy and were against China. So, what's your take on that?
Okay, it's a very good question, very complicated, but let me try to answer it in simple terms. First of all, I think your basic hypothesis or basic concept of what the US is trying to do is only partially correct because you have portrayed it as the US trying to show its power in the world. But the object is not that. That is perhaps one of the things that it is doing. The object is actually very domestic. Okay. And of course, in the end, the domestic will also be international. But the main object is to restructure the US economy and also to restructure partly the US society, though not through economics, not through tariffs, through other means. But there is a grand plan to restructure the American system, the society, and the economy. And part of it is that the US, according to Mr. Trump, had become too dependent on other countries, especially China, become too dependent on them and had lost much of manufacturing jobs to China and had become too dependent. And they want to go back to 30, 40 years back where the US was not importing anything significant from China and was creating things itself and had jobs itself. So this is actually so-called objective that we want, and our product should dominate the world. We aren't making anything. How can we dominate the world with those products if we don't make the cars, we don't make the computers, we don't make the chips? We are not dominating them because we don't even know how to make them. We stopped making them, right? So they want to actually go back uh, to say 1990 in terms of what they were making and the jobs that were being created. Now, whether that's a worthwhile objective or a doable objective, that's a different issue. But I think the objective is to show that, you know, and to export what the US makes, to dominate the world. And they say, look, you don't buy enough from us. We make,
So basically,
yeah.
now they're making weapons and all. Otherwise, all the things they import from China.
So well, they say we are very good at making motorcycles, but you don't buy enough motorcycles from us. We are not, so I mean, India is under pressure to reduce the duty on motorcycles. Okay, we make Harley Davidson, which is a very good motorcycle. but you don't allow us to sell it there because you have put a big duty on it. So get that duty down. We make very good Tesla cars, but you have a duty on it. So the pressure is to sell their stuff. And when they want to sell the stuff, they want to create jobs within the country to make that stuff. So at the root of it is really a desire to make more things in the US and to become less dependent on other countries. That's the objective. It's not to show off. I mean, it's not that they aren't showing off, but that's not the objective. The objective
Mhm.
is this.
Okay, sir. Sir, the second question is you have worked significantly for a significant period of time. You have worked with World Bank. So, with this move of US, now the role of World Bank IMF has been decreased, or are we seeing the now we are going back to 1990s where traditional like these organizations have no role to play because 240% tariff imposition was not like was not there. The US has done it arbitrarily. So what's the role of these organizations? What role they will play now? Because they were set in 1990s for this for the very same thing, the globalization, liberalization, and all. But now we are seeing that we are back to 1990s.
Well, okay. First of all, the IMF is very, very different from the World Bank. We shouldn't
Mhm.
even take their name in the same sentence. They are completely different. Okay. The IMF hardly ever lends money to most countries. Okay. India has not taken a loan from the IMF since 1990. Okay. India takes a loan from the World Bank every year. So you can see the difference. Most countries don't take a loan from the IMF. The IMF is only emergency loans. Okay. So unless your country is in a financial crisis, you are not going to take a loan from the IMF, and the IMF also is not going to tell you what to do. They just write a report every year. You read it, you don't read it, nobody cares. Okay. And it's a much smaller organization than the World Bank because they don't give a loan every year. So, and to most countries, they don't have, maybe there are at any time 15 or 20 countries that have a loan from the IMF. Okay. So, IMF is completely separate. IMF's need is not going away because when a country is in financial crisis, there's nowhere to go but the IMF. Okay, like
Mhm.
Pakistan's made a habit of it. They have taken 20 loans from the IMF. It means
Uh,
they are always in crisis,
uh, and they
right?
have no model to repay back. Like they are in debt.
No, they are not able to forget payback. They need more debt. Where will they pay back? So it's completely different. Okay, from the World Bank. The World Bank lends money to countries that are not in crisis for progress. So India typically borrows $3 billion every year from the World Bank. Even now, it's ongoing. Though we are not in any financial crisis, we are not going to the IMF, we are not even involved with the IMF loans in any way, and we are not going to take a loan from the IMF. But since we need to have dollars at a low interest rate, we borrow from the World Bank. And nobody, no prime minister has stopped borrowing from the World Bank. Okay, so it's now the World Bank therefore lends money for projects, for schemes. So we have in India the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, I think it's now called Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan for school children.
Mhm.
And the World Bank gave a loan of $1 billion to India to help support that. Or they will give a loan for health, something like that. So
Mhm.
now the World Bank is not to countries like India it does not give a heavily subsidized loan. So we pay a reasonable interest rate for it, only it's for 30 years. And I don't think that is really going to be affected much. But even China borrows from the World Bank. Even China is borrowing $2 or $3 billion a year from the World Bank. They lend money everywhere, but they borrow from the World Bank. Now, probably China will not be able to borrow anymore from the World Bank. And even India may find that they won't give you any money. So the loan, the role of the World Bank anyway has been declining. For the last 25 years, it has been declining because the big borrowers who used to be big, like India and China, don't really need their money anymore. We just take it because it's convenient.
Okay.
Okay. And it's useful and convenient and so on, but it's not essential. So,
Okay, like we have reached a stage, India has reached a stage where it taking money from WTO is not a no, like it is taking because it's only convenient and we can pay back to them, but it's not
yes,
a necessity anymore.
well, you said WTO, you mean the World Bank. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not a necessity. No, not at all. We are just borrowing because it's convenient to do so and it's useful to do so. But certainly, we don't listen to any condition that the World Bank might say, do this, do that. There's, if they give advice, it's good. We can take the advice or we can reject the advice. Advice is never bad. It's your
Mm,
decision whether to accept it or not accept it, but it's not forced on you. Because you could always
okay.
say, no, we don't need, we'll do it ourselves. Like the World Bank didn't was originally planning to give a loan for the Narmada Dam, and then the World Bank said, we won't give you the money. Okay, they built it anyway.
Oh,
So, and even Bangladesh, the World Bank was supposed to give a loan for the Padma Bridge, and they said no, the Padma Bridge was built anyway.
okay.
It's not that essential anymore for. Now, it's very important for Pakistan because Pakistan needs the money. But India is. So the World Bank's role is declining for the last so many years and will continue to decline simply because as countries become more developed, they don't really need the money. Now, countries in Africa, which I know very well, they do need the money.
Okay.
Okay, they do need the money. So they may continue to borrow from the World Bank, but countries like India, Indonesia, big countries like that, they don't really, Vietnam used to borrow a lot of money. They don't really need the big Asian countries, Vietnam, China, India, Indonesia. It's okay to take a loan, but it is not essential. And
Okay.
that has got nothing to do with tariffs. It has to do with the development of the country.
Okay. Like all other the South Asian countries have reached a stage where they do not need a World Bank or any
Not
like the
Pakistan. Pakistan needs.
okay.
Pakistan needs. Nepal needs. Even Sri Lanka these days they need it. But India, Bangladesh, India surely doesn't need it. It's just convenient. Bangladesh also the need is less than it used to be. And East Asia, Indonesia, Vietnam, they also don't really need the money.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, my third question is after 1990s, when the economies of all South Asian countries were forced to open or opened, there was a growing interdependence on all other reasons. Like these were the conflicting countries with each other, but when the economies opened, they became interdependent on each other. But after this, we are seeing that now the geopolitical tensions have been like put to stop for some period of time, but they have turned into other tension like the trade wars, sanctions, restrictions. So what's your take on that? Like the dependence has been good or not?
Well, India was never booming on the basis of exports. China boomed on the basis of exports. But India, we are not really world class in manufacturing. What we have is world class computer services.
Hmm.
And that's our boom, the software.
So,
Software,
IT industry.
IT. That's
Hmm.
what is booming. And that boom continues in two ways. One is that they simply hire the people in India who are sitting in India. Okay, so many countries have come to establish offices in India, and they are hiring people in India, no longer saying, "Oh, you have to come and work in our country." You just
Hmm.
remote work from India.
Hmm.
But all of these foreign country companies are there, which young people want jobs in. EY, Deloitte, these are all foreign companies. Amazon, Microsoft, they're all in India.
Hmm.
They're hiring Indians. They're not saying, okay, you guys can't do it. We have to bring foreigners to teach you. No, they're using the Indians. So that is our skill. And that is growing. And many people don't talk about it much anymore. But that's how Hyderabad is booming. That's how Bangalore is booming. It's not because they are making cars or computers or phones. They are booming because they are good at software. And increasingly not just good at software, but other types of engineering also.
Hmm.
So you can get the engineering work done, and pretty much we can also get some medical work done. We can also get some international work done, what the junior
Hmm.
lawyers do. You can, the people in India, they're smart. They say, okay, US law, I learned it in 3 or 4 months, right? What is the big deal? I'm smart
Hmm.
person. I learn it, then I can deal with your questions from here. And anyway, now you can ask the computers all these questions so they can do the work. So we are getting a boom in skills. We are not yet able to get a boom in manufactured things, though iPhone is being made in India and some other things are being made, but our costs are too high
Hmm.
and our output is not flawless. So if you make iPhones in China, rejection rate might be under 1%. In India, if you make iPhones, rejection rate might be 10-15%. When you check the quality, then the quality is not there, so reject. And the companies are actually very, very sensitive to the quality, which we are not used to in India. I'll tell you a story about in the US about Toyota, how sensitive they are. Toyota buys a part. They don't make every part, they buy a part. That part has to come with a rubber cap. That cap is not important. It's not part of the equipment. It's just there to protect it in travel. If a truck comes with that part, maybe there are 400-500 parts there. If the cap is off on one of them, they will send the whole truck back.
Hmm.
Oh, it's just off. One, no, take the truck back.
Hmm.
We don't have that mentality. No, it's only one, it's just off. It's not broken, it works. He said, no, 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 no. How
Hmm.
do you make it this way that one has come off out of 500? Take the whole truck back, reject it. So we don't have that capacity. We should get it.
Like they are very particular about the thing, like
Yes,
the.
very particular. They need to be precise. And
Hmm.
rejection rate should be under 1%, or as they say, Six Sigma. Six Sigma means 99.999% okay.
Okay.
And this is it. Six Sigma is called 99.999% okay. That last bit, okay, it's not fine, it's all right, but the rest of it has to meet. We don't have that concept working in India. We need to do it.
Yeah. So my next question is: China follows a debt trap diplomacy as in their BRI, and it rewards those countries who stand with them. Like it's rewarded Venezuela, a South Asian Latin country, brief being against America, and it was with China. It does reward Taiwan companies who are pro China in their policies. What role does it does also reward Pakistan sometime because it's against India, and India is seen as being in conflict with China. So what's your take on that? Like, China is a growing power. It can be a second power to US now after the USSR was broken. So what's your take on that?
Well, it's not a second power to the US when it comes to such loans. It is the first power.
Yeah.
They have more money to lend out, and they are doing it.
Hmm.
They have surrounded India
Hmm.
by giving loans to Sri Lanka,
Hmm.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, and I won't be surprised if they get into Afghanistan.
Hmm. So for some period of time, they have also given loans to Nepal because I've
Yes,
heard that.
yes, Nepal. So, of course, we are also quite involved in Nepal, but China is encircling us not in military terms, but first by debt trap to the neighboring countries. I told you that the Padma Bridge was built in Bangladesh, but it was built by the Chinese. They said, okay, fine. You don't get money from the World Bank, we'll do it. Now, it was kept a little bit under the radar, but everybody knows that it was built by the Chinese. Not just Chinese money, but Chinese workers. Bring your own workers, bring your own machines, bring your own technology, make the bridge, and then give them a bill for it. And then they say, sorry, we cannot pay the bill. Say, okay, it's a loan.
Okay.
Okay. It's a loan. We built it for you, right? It's a $1.5 million. Here's the bill. Okay, we can't pay. Fine, you can't pay. Make it a loan. So they built a port in Sri Lanka. They built a port in Pakistan. Sri Lanka, they gave the bill. Sri Lanka said, we can't pay the bill. They said, take a
Then
loan. They said, if we can't even repay the loan, they said, fine, we will take control of it for 99 years. So, yes, absolutely. Debt trap diplomacy is around India. We don't realize it. We still think that war is fought by planes and ships and soldiers. But the economic war is fought with loans.
So, what's the way forward for India? Excluding Pakistan, all other countries were the friendly nations for India. But now we are seeing that with the investment coming from China, they often take China stand in favor of China. So, what could India do in this thing? Like
Okay.
recently, Bangladesh, when the toppling of the government has taken place, has started giving many statements against India. Some when there was a CPI, communist government in Nepal, they were also giving statements against India. So what India can do in this regard? Because we were the friendly nations with all these countries, and now they are going all against us.
Okay, it's a question for people in political science and international relations to answer. But I can
Hmm.
give you my opinion, which I have written in many places, that in South Asia, We have to recognize that there's a difference between being the gold medalist and a leader. We might be the gold medalist in South Asia, but we are not leaders. A gold medalist in a race doesn't care about what's happening to the silver medalist or the bronze medalist or anybody who else runs. The gold medalist just wants the gold medal for himself or herself. But a leader leads, makes others follow. We don't have that leadership. We might be friendly, but we are not leaders because leaders make their followers develop. Our attitude should become that of a leader. Okay, we are not just giving you aid. We can make you better. We can help you. We will lead you forward. We have expertise in software. We have expertise in medical technology because Pakistani people are coming to India for medical treatment, right? They are coming. They're coming. And we give them visa also. Okay, come. But we have so many expertise. But we are not sharing it with our neighbors. Instead, we are expecting some kind of gratitude. Oh, Bangladesh, we made you independent. Don't you know it? You should be grateful to us. Okay, young people, they don't remember that 1971. They're forgotten. It's there. They think it's some story that their grandfather tells them and they don't listen. We need to not be looking at the past. We need to look at the future. And the young people should connect with other young people in the region. And I'm trying that in Vidpeds, though not succeeding. But we should have a link between young college people in India and young people college in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Maldives. Why not? We are all, as I call us as desis. I don't use the term South Asia. So we are all desis. And we should connect with each other. We don't have to agree to their policies. Okay? You don't agree with your friends' policies on everything, but you are still friends. So,
Yes, sir. Sir, as in my course, there were people from Tibet also,
yeah.
but they have a very, like on any issue, they have a very neutral stand. Like India has done so much for them, but they do not take very much side of India. Like they have very humanitarian approach. So I think the narrative is not very much well set by the Indians themselves. Like the India has not been able to set itself narrative so well. Like Pakistan has done nothing from for Tibet people, but when there is something like India, Pakistan, or India, Sri Lanka, the very people we have helped will not take our side. Like they
I
will
know.
take a very neutral stand.
See, but we need to know that we have to live with our neighbors. They are not going away. Okay, you can divorce in your family and go away, but you can't divorce your neighbors. Your neighbors will be your neighbors. And if you find that they are ungrateful or they are not supportive, they are like that. Why are we not understanding this and not feeling angry about it? Because feeling angry and saying, oh, those guys, they are not grateful. Well, they will not be grateful. And if you are a
Hmm.
real leader, see, that's what I'm saying, that we are not leaders. We are people who say, oh, I'm your big uncle. I have done you good, child. And they say, no,
Hmm.
we are equal country. We are equal people. You are not our uncle, not our
Hmm.
Tauji. We behave sometimes like Tauji, but we are not their
Hmm.
Tauji. We need to treat them as, we need to become a leader and they need to become our followers. There's a big change in attitude that is needed, according to me. The politics has to be. And one way for young people is like you met them. Listen to them. Learn what they are saying. Everybody, instead of just writing, oh, these Bangladeshis, have they forgotten? We did this, we did that. Say, why don't you listen to what they're saying and take it seriously? And try to figure out how to change, as you said, the narrative. And don't expect gratitude from any country. No country will be giving you gratitude because they'll all think we did it ourselves. Whatever the progress is, they will think they did it themselves. Or it doesn't matter, that was long ago, forget it now. What are we going to do? So we must change our attitude to future looking, not what we have done for them in the past. Go forward looking. Okay, enough from me.
Sir, my next question is like from the last question only. How far India is able to use geoeconomics strategy as a part of its foreign policy? Like recently, we are seeing that after 2016, India has aborted the like trade agreements with Pakistan when Pulwama happened. Now they have suspended the Indus water treaty. Also, this should have happened way before that, but now India is doing that. So what's the like future of India in geoeconomics? Like are they able to use it or not?
Well, right now we are very much in a reactive mode. Okay, we are not, as I said, in a leadership role. We are in a reactive mode. We react to what other countries say to us, what other countries do to us. Okay. And now it's not easy to get out of that reactive mode. Okay. If they attack us, we have to attack back, obviously. Okay. If they attack us, we have to say we will, Indus Water Treaty is suspended. We have to do something. No question about it. And we have to do a bit more than what they did to us. Okay. Agree. But that's short-term reaction. And actually, they have hijacked us, to be honest, because anytime they want, they can provoke us. And then we react. So when you react, you have been hijacked. Okay. Because we are sitting happily, we are thinking of our economic progress, this and that. And one day they come and shoot 26 people, the whole country stops and starts reacting. So who has hijacked us? They. Of course, I'm not saying that we shouldn't attack back. We should. But how long can we live like this, where they provoke us and we react? They provoke us every few years, they provoke us and everything goes back, and every country comes neutral. Every country comes neutral. I don't see a single country saying, stop it, Pakistan, India is right. I don't see it. Such a statement has not come from anywhere. So we should realize that this is what's going to happen to us, that nobody will support us. And we are in a reactive mode. I would say go ahead and be in a proactive mode. If you really want to do, why are you waiting for them to provoke us? Why don't you go and provoke them? What is
So
it?
because in between USA has also entered and kind of talked about mediation. So there were even pressure on our side to stop the things. Even though we have not even initiated the war, we were kind of retaliating what was done to us.
Okay. Yeah, but see, the difference is this. Okay. I mean, I'm not an expert, so I'll say I may be wrong, but the world is afraid of nuclear war between India and Pakistan. Okay. If they come and kill 26 tourists, that's not a military attack. Okay. It is an attack by terrorists on civilians. USA also took that plane crash of 9/11 and turned it into a war against Iraq.
Hmm.
And everybody knows it was a mistake. It was a mistake. So when you turn a provocation into a military attack, then they hit back with a military attack. You may be better hitter than they are. You may do more damage than they do, but the world doesn't care. The world says, stop it, you are nuclear powers. Okay. We hit them more than they hit us. Okay, fine. That's not an issue. But the point is, the world doesn't want us to hit Pakistan militarily because they are afraid Pakistan is a mad country. Who knows, if they throw an atom bomb, you will throw an atom bomb. Then the whole place will be messed up. So they will always not take our side because they want you to stop because you are fighting their civilian attack by a military attack.
Hmm.
Okay. I say let's go in and do a civilian attack before they attack us.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting for them to provoke us?
So,
Why don't
the way you said in the beginning, India is a gold medal kind of country. It would not do something which is wrong,
No,
like
it's
on
not
paper.
wrong. It's not wrong to attack their militants. It's not wrong. Like right
Yeah.
now, you say you have bombed their militants and terrorists. Why don't you just do it without waiting for them to provoke you? Find a way. Because they have found a way to provoke you. Kasab and others came in Mumbai and they blew up this and they blew up that and they provoked you. And you reacted. Now they've sent these fellows to kill 26 innocent people and you reacted with military. Right? They provoke you and you with this, and you react with this. And then
Hmm.
they react, and then the world says stop. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Because we need to find a way to attack the terrorists even before they attack us. Just go in and have your spies, have your capacity, have your, like, in Bangladesh war, we created Mukti Vahini. That
Hmm.
was an unofficial army. And that's what fought from April to December against Pakistan. Our Indian army went in only in December 71. From April to December, they were all going as Mukti Vahini. What is Mukti Vahini? Civilians. But they were really
Hmm.
army people. And we need to, I'm not an expert, but we need to find a way to provoke them, to hit them before they hit us.
Hmm.
This is my thinking that look, why do we sit around happily doing what we are doing, and one day out of nowhere they come and provoke us? Then we all get excited and we all get ready to attack them with military, Indus Water Treaty, this, that. Why don't we do some things before they attack us?
So, because recently, what I'm able to see that India is kind of ignoring Pakistan on all the platforms, on all the stages, like Shark. That is the reason they have sidelined the Shark because Pakistan was there. So India does not want any active involvement with Pakistan because I don't know why, but they do not because
Okay,
maybe the
listen,
negotiations and dialogue were not reaping any results.
this is too complicated a political question for me. What I am saying is something easier and simpler. Let
Huh.
the SARC and all be whatever the government decides. But let the young people begin to form links with young people in other countries.
Hmm.
Okay. This is not going to make policy. This is not going to make, uh, what should I say, war or have any effect. But at least we need to know what they are thinking. Now, in Pakistan, everybody thinks they beat the hell out of India. At least you need to know that. Today we don't even have the news. We have no connections. We have nobody. Now the older generation, they had links. And, way back in the 1980s, when the president of Pakistan came to India, he had studied in a Delhi college. And so he came to meet his old classmates. So there was a connection.
Okay.
But over time, all of those have gone away.
Hmm.
And now I have talked to young people on Vidped from Pakistan and from Bangladesh. I tell you, if they didn't say they were from Pakistan, the stories they tell about themselves are so similar to stories that you hear from people from India. Like there's one fellow from Pakistan. He got his master's in England, and he's back working for what they call State Bank of Pakistan, which means Republic RBP. It's
Hmm.
not the state bank, it's like our Reserve Bank. Reserve Bank of Pakistan is
Okay.
called State Bank of Pakistan. He works for them. And then he told me, sir, my parents are illiterate farmers. And this is how I came up to this. And just a few days before that, I had heard one fellow from RBI saying, sir, my parents are illiterate farmers and I am working for RBI. So what's the difference in the stories? There
Hmm.
isn't that much difference. And young people should decide that we are going to be leaders, not gold medalists alone. Gold medalist, yes, be gold medalist. We are, but we are not leaders. We need to be both. And
Hmm.
leaders, they need to know what their followers are like. We don't care. We just go in and say, hey, we gave you money.
Hmm.
Be happy.
Even the vaccine diplomacy happened in the same way. Like we have given to all the countries without any expectation of anything in return. Like we had the chance during that time
I told you
to.
medicines. I told you medical field. Yes.
Yeah.
Medical field, yes, agreed. But we
Hmm.
expect gratitude. Now, I think gratitude is not possible in today's world.
Yeah.
Maybe it
It's.
was possible in some earlier times, I don't know. But there is no country to country gratitude.
Hmm.
We must change that thinking.
Hmm.
And we need to have connections. That's my point. Young people in the future should be able to say, oh, when I was in college, I had this college friend. Let me talk to him or her. We don't
Yeah.
have that. And the internet
Hmm.
makes it possible.
It now it's very much possible. Like earlier, so, sir, like I understood the question. My next question is how India should deal with its neighboring country. Like, what should be the kind of relationship? The China, we cannot go with China. We cannot go with Pakistan. Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka are all are lower economies in comparison to India. So, what's the other countries India should go and explore in terms of equal relationship?
No, we are not going to find any country equal to us. Okay. Indonesia is a large country, but they are not going to go as fast as India.
Mm.
Okay, so we cannot go with the idea that we will have some equal country in Asia except China. But China is different. So the two Asian countries are, I mean, Japan, of course, but we are not going to be equal to Japan, and we are not going to be equal to South Korea. So it's really they're not such large. So if you're looking within your region, you have to decide, as I say, how are you going to be a leader, not just a gold medalist? Don't be happy to be a gold medalist. Oh, we have these IITs, we have this, we are sent somebody to the moon and all this. Okay, great, you've done it. Now, why don't you have a reasonable relationship with your neighbors? We need to ask ourselves this question. I'm not going to give the answer. I'm not an expert.
Okay.
But I know as I come back to it, young people, please connect to other young people. Don't make it international. Oh, we are representing India, you are representing Bangladesh. Just as you meet people from Tibet in college, you meet people from other states in India, you can do some programs with people from other countries. They're not representing other countries, they're just representing themselves. They happen to be people you know. So
Okay.
we are so stuck in this international image. Oh, we are from Pakistan, we are from Bangladesh. Forget it. You are all desis. This is my point. Realize that we are all desis. There's something.
Yes, sir, because we belong to one geographical landmass. Even the way you told us, even our stories, our cultural stories are same. So we will be more interconnected with these countries rather than we go and find someone else. That makes more sense.
So culturally, food-wise,
Hmm.
historically, now there are big differences, no question. But compared to the differences with others, they are much less. And we have to
Yeah.
live with each other. We have to live with each other. There's no choice. We have to live with each other. And you can understand that, just think that Germany had invaded France in Second World War and occupied it. Germany invaded Netherlands and occupied it, right? And Poland. But after the World War, they came together to form EU.
Hmm.
Now, what do they have in common? They don't speak the same language in EU. They all speak English now
Hmm.
in EU meetings. But they have come together. It's a clear model that countries can come together even though the French hate the Germans and the Germans hate the French, and the French don't want German language to dominate and the Germans don't want French to dominate. So they say we will speak in English. Okay.
Hmm.
They do it.
Hmm.
Look at any EU meeting. Everything is in English. Why? Why is it there? Because it's a common language. Okay. Yesterday we were seeing this show on TV from Sweden. And then the police are investigating in France and this and that and all. When they go there, they tell each other, okay, let's speak in English. What else to do?
Yeah.
So we have to learn the lesson of EU. We don't have to have a common currency, but we have to learn the EU lesson that even enemies have got. I mean, Germany was a dominant power. They conquered France, they conquered Netherlands. But
Even said they were morally very wrong, like
yeah,
any other. But now they are going together, all
they're
together.
good. Not now. They formed the first union in 1950.
Hmm.
5 years after the World War ended, Germany and France came together to start the very tiny thing which most people don't know about, the European coal community. Just only on coal, okay? And only a few countries, but they came together. They saw we are neighbors. We cannot have another war between us. And
Hmm.
if we work out the economics starting very small, we can do it. And now EU is 28 countries. All
Hmm.
the small countries, not all, some haven't joined, but Switzerland hasn't joined, but they've come together.
Yes.
We need not to follow the EU model, we need to follow our own model, but we need to realize that we have to live with our neighbors. Okay, sorry to take so long, but that's my answer.
No worries, sir. Sir, my next question is how technological competition reflect the geoeconomic paradigm. Like recently, I was in one of the conferences where the solar power plants was being discussed that we mostly imported from China. And we do not have even the basic material, the chip and all. Like even if we set up the first stage, we will be dependent on China for the second stage. So what India can do in this regard? Like we are heavily dependent on China for their all the materials, all the technological advancements.
In the short run, nothing.
Hmm.
We never set up our research institutions. Okay. The reason IITs get low rank is because they don't have top class research.
Hmm.
Okay. So research can be economic, fundamental, or it can be applied, like batteries. Okay. We have to make a better battery. Okay. Everybody is trying to make a better battery. China is 10 years ahead of us.
Hmm.
They're ahead of the US in better batteries.
Hmm.
Why? 10 years ago, they were nowhere. But they have put the money. And again, we need to look in the future. We need to give our technical institutions the incentives to do research. Now, in medical, as you rightly pointed out, we can make vaccines,
Hmm.
but that's manufacturing vaccines. We didn't create the vaccine.
Hmm.
Okay, we make them,
Hmm.
and we make medicines also, and they're good.
Hmm.
But the next step isn't there. How to create new medicine? Like, have we created a new medication for malaria? Answer is no.
Hmm.
We are only following the global trend. Now, the global, they come out with some medicine, we make it. Okay, other countries can't make it, we can make it. Agreed. But we are not doing any research. Of we are doing, but
Hmm.
it is minor, it is insignificant. We are not putting in the money to where are we in AI? Nowhere. We are users. Now China has put out DeepSeek.
Hmm.
That came in 10% of the cost in US. China made it in 10. Now you can say it's not as good. Okay, fine, but the cost is 10%. It may be
But at
90%.
least the stands. It at least the world knows there is a deep sea manufactured by made by China. India has nothing
It has
in that
nothing
regard.
because we don't put our scientists, we don't give the IITs. In what we are doing is every day we create a new IIT. I mean, we have 22 of them now, I think 22, 23. If you go to the new IITs, there's nothing there.
Hmm.
Just some buildings, some professors, and some students. What we don't have, we had a plan called Center of Excellence, but we don't have those centers of excellence. Nobody is saying, oh, I want to go to India to do research in medicine or in batteries or in solar. Nothing. Solar is still very much open for research.
Hmm.
Okay. It's not at all something that we are done with. Okay, Shubra, I have only 2 or 3 minutes for you now because I have the next
Okay,
person.
sir.
So,
Okay, sir.
all right.
Now, sir, my last question is how do you see all of this? Now, like we are back to geopolitics or the geoeconomics still has a way, or geoeconomics prevents the can prevent the war and has the ability to prevent the war due to its interconnected nature and
Okay. India is not going to be in a war.
Hmm.
Number one, we don't want to be in a war. Number two, China is not going to attack us. If they do, we will be in war. We are not going to attack China.
Hmm.
So, and as for Pakistan, they will never fight a war with us
Hmm.
because they are only less than 15% of us in population. They know what will they do to India. There's nothing they can do to India. Okay. What do they think? They can get part of Rajasthan near the Sindh border or part of Punjab? Nobody will let that happen.
Hmm.
They know. That's why they never fight with the military, because they know they will lose. Okay, what's the
They
point of
kind of
fighting?
fight the proxy war with
And they want
India.
to fight a proxy war. So we will never
Uh,
be in war. And so we need to build our economy. And that's
mm,
the way forward. And we need to aim for creating jobs, and we need to aim for 10% GDP growth. Okay, not
okay.
6%, 10%, 9,
And
10.
what is the case of export India should aim? Like India is bad in export
Listen,
the way you said.
India is not going, the world today is not going to tolerate huge exports from any country. We need to
Hmm.
focus on creating our domestic markets and meeting the needs of our people instead of saying, oh, we can make iPhones for foreigners. We need to make things for our own people that they can afford.
Hmm.
Okay, we are
Because
making.
India has a large market itself. Other countries like point to Indian market that it should
Correct.
be able to absorb it.
Yeah.
Why should we go and point other nations who have lesser number of people than us, small economies,
And they are
small
not growing
markets?
fast. They are not growing
Hmm.
fast. Even if they have more money, they are growing at 2%. What are you going to do at 2%?
Hmm.
Much more will they buy from you? We need to meet our own people's jobs and our own people's needs for goods that are suitable and workable in Indian conditions. That's my
Okay, sir.
message. And then we become leaders in South Asia, not gold medalists alone. Leaders.
Hmm. The
Okay.
thing is, India does not have any aspiration to be a leader in
I
first
am
place. That's
saying
the
that young
problem.
people, please aspire to be leaders.
Okay,
Okay. Don't just say,
okay, sir.
oh, we have sent somebody to the dark side of the moon. Now we
Hmm.
are. What are you doing for your neighbors? Are
Hmm.
you leading them? Are you a leader? Be a leader. Okay, I have to end it now, Shubra. Thank you so
Okay, sir.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
you want me to send you the recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right,
sir.
let's
Thank
end
you.
it here today. And thank you so
Okay.
much for asking me. I'll be happy to record it. I'll also put it on YouTube and I'll send it to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Okay.